Hi guys, I have been having a lot of conversations centered around the ego because it's a vital piece to our spiritual growth. And it's important, I feel, to have this conversation about the ego, to understand it more, to love it, to nurture it, and most importantly, to grow beyond it. Hi, welcome to Inner Cosmetics. I'm ELLE, and this is conversations, spiritual conversations around our growth spiritually, our journey here together. The ego, as I said in a prior video, is a really beautiful part of our unfolding. And when we begin to understand the role that it plays, we can allow it to unfold us more. The ego has such a tight grip on this 3D, and that's what we're growing beyond. Because at some point, you can only be so stimulated by 3D. At what stage are you ready to ask, what's next? What's more? I'm always going to be desiring, even when I have $1 billion. You want $1 million, you're going to get it. You're a creator. You get everything that you desire. And the yearning and desiring isn't going to end. So what are you truly here for? And so feeding the ego is finite. You're going to be satiated for a moment, you're going to be happy for a moment, and then that's going to end. The spiritual, feeding the spiritual is a totally different path. It's infinite. And it's okay that it is, let me backtrack here and say this first. When you feed the ego, that happiness is contingent on something 3D. When you're focused and you're nurturing the spirit, you know the journey is into infinity. It's infinite, it's never going to end. But because you're feeding your spirit, that happiness is fulfilled and it's not contingent on anything 3D. So it's a self-sustaining happiness, and that's what you want. You want the endurance to keep going. If you're constantly feeding the ego, it's just a stint of happiness, and we're not here for a stint, a smidget. We want it all. And if you want it all, that's going within. That's hearing that voice that's so silent that only you can hear. No one knows your purpose. Not a priest, not a god, not a goddess, not anyone outside of yourself. You, divine self with the God within, as you commune and learn to hear that voice, because sometimes it's a little distorted between the ego's voice and the silent voice. And we're here to really hear that silence, allow it to speak to us. And sometimes it even takes truly being in silence just for a little bit. Just turn it all off and get to know and nurture that true silence. And you're going to be able to distinguish between, am I doing this for the ego? Am I feeding the ego? Or is this God speaking through to me? Because it's really important how much of a difference it makes. And loving this ego as well. You know, I know for myself, can't speak for anybody else, but I used to believe that the ego was something that was, I don't know, tainted, or, you know, that you had to calm or somehow, control. And it's not that at all. Sometimes the things we don't understand are the things that we try to control. But if we understand that they say change is always constant, yeah? And so it's always flowing and moving. We need some consistency like we have with the ego. It's going to be what it's going to be. Let it be. Don't try to tame it or control it. We're here to find ourselves in the midst of all this divine chaos. So allow us to do that. Love it. Nurture it. Say, I know you're stuck in the 3D. That's your part that you play. And I promise you this. Well, you're going to find it out for yourself anyway. When you go within and you dedicate as much time to hearing that voice that you do, that to give into a 9-to-5 or a project that you have, if you can dedicate that much more effort, just for an hour, for 30 minutes, to being in silence and asking God to speak and giving direction in your life, the mountains that will be moved, the momentum, the speed in which you're going to receive what you actually don't know you're looking for. Because again, the physical is finite. It's finite. It's going to go. It's going to dissolve. It's a personality. This is just a personality. The personality goes. But we're here. It's a shell for our soul, for our spirit. And so let's just get and focus on the real thing, the right thing. And that's what this message really is about. For me, just showing up again to support and offer to you to focus on asking God more about, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And if it's so, let it be easy, because easy is the key, right? If there's chaos, if it feels like it's hard, might not be it. All right. So thank you always for tuning in. And also too, if you have anything on your heart that you say, hey, I would love to have a discussion around, put it in the comments below, because sharing and growing together is what this platform's all about. All right, guys. Talk to you soon on the next video. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in.